Purim, the Feast of Lots, has made a fascinating comeback in the last 50 or 60 years. Because at one point, the festival was actually dropped by a number of communities, partly because, well, they considered it a bit indecorous and noisy and robustious the way it was observed, with the noise and the stamping and the shouting. Also, they weren't terribly keen about some of its contents to do with the harem or the death of Haman's sons. And yet, it has now come back very strongly, and for two reasons. I think partly popular appeal, people just simply enjoy the festival, it's good fun, but perhaps more seriously because of the theme of anti-Semitism, which I think sadly people realise is not going to go away. And it's really a classic text of early anti-Semitism. You know, Haman has to persuade the king Ahasuerus that it's all right for him to go and kill his Jewish population, and says, the Jews are different, they're not like us. They've got, I don't know, sort of different festivals, they've got different foods, whatever. And instead of seeing differences as enriching or interesting, differences were threatening and dangerous. And then, of course, he uses stereotypes. He doesn't like, Haman hates one particular Jew, Mordecai, and therefore he dislikes all Jews. And the danger of mass stereotyping is all too present for society today. In fact, it's memorable how the German rabbis in the 1930s couldn't criticize Hitler in synagogue because there were often Gestapo listening into their sermons, but at Purim would often condemn Haman in very strong terms, and all the German Jews listening knew that they weren't referring to Haman, but it was Hitler that they were talking about. And so, for us, it's a sort of curious double message. Yes, we are part of wider society, thoroughly entrenched in it, want to be integrated into it, working for it, and yet we also have to be vigilant. Vigilant against stereotypes, anti-Semitism, racism, discrimination of all forms, whether it's against us or anybody else in society. And that's the message of Purim.